Silence often competes with the noise generated by our thoughts, words, and actions. We find ourselves continuously speaking, texting, or posting on social media, enveloping our lives in endless chatter. However, the wisdom of Buddhism reminds us that silence can be not only golden but also profoundly transformative. It teaches us to recognize this power and use it wisely, especially in 4 key situations. This exploration of Buddhist spiritual teachings will guide us in understanding the importance of maintaining silence in these moments. These teachings offer deep insights that can inspire us to lead more mindful, harmonious, and purposeful lives. Let's delve into these ancient pearls of wisdom. Embracing the serenity of silence to find solutions to our life's problems. Firstly, silence holds immense power. It is not merely the absence of noise, but a profound state of being. As the esteemed Vietnamese Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once expressed, silence is essential, akin to how plants need light. If our minds are filled with words and thoughts, we lack space for clarity. Buddhism acknowledges this space and encourages its cultivation across various aspects of life. Silence serves as a gateway to inner peace, mindfulness, and self-awareness. It allows us to listen not only to the world but more importantly, to the whispers of our hearts and minds. It is a powerful tool that can transform how we interact with the world and navigate life's challenges. As we begin this journey into the 4 situations where Buddhism advises silence, let us remember that silence is not about passivity or indifference. It is about being present, attuned, and intentional. By exploring these situations and understanding their significance, we can embrace silence as a source of empowerment. Number 1. Silence in the face of anger. It's wise to remain silent when feeling angry, as anger can be a powerful and often destructive emotion. When anger dominates, it can lead to unintended consequences due to its intensity driving our words and actions. Buddhism explains that anger stems from attachment, aversion, and ignorance. When we cling to desires or aversions and ignore the impermanence and interconnectedness of all things, anger easily takes hold. In such instances, silence acts as a powerful remedy, providing a moment to pause and reflect on the sources of our anger. It allows us to step back, observe our emotional reactions without judgment or immediate expression, and engage in mindful breathing and self-inquiry, offering insight into the causes of our anger. Moreover, silence serves as a shield against harsh words and actions often paired with anger. It helps prevent harm to ourselves and others and fosters a climate of calm and understanding, safeguarding our relationships. The Buddhist tradition narrates the story of 2 arrows. The first arrow represents the initial pain or suffering caused by distressing situations, while the second arrow signifies the suffering we impose on ourselves through our reactions to the first. By embracing silence during anger, we can avoid the second arrow, thereby reducing unnecessary suffering. To truly comprehend this teaching, it's essential to explore anger itself and why Buddhism highlights silence as the right response. In Buddhism, anger is viewed as arising from attachments and aversions. When we intensely desire something or have a strong aversion to a situation, anger may surface as a reaction to perceived threats to our desires. Our attachment blinds us to the interconnectedness of all things and the impermanence of the world. Silence in such times becomes a sanctuary for self-awareness and reflection. Anger clouds our minds with emotions, leading to irrational and impulsive thoughts that can result in regret and harm. Silence provides a buffer between emotions and reactions, allowing us to step back instead of lashing out in the heat of the moment. Through silence, we create space for stillness to observe anger without judgment, cultivating mindfulness and self-awareness, which are key elements of the Eightfold Path. In these moments, essential questions arise. Why am I angry? What attachment fuels this situation? What aversion triggers this anger? These inquiries can lead to profound insights into the root causes behind our anger. We may come to realize that our attachments can be unrealistic. Our aversions stem from misunderstandings, or our expectations contribute to our suffering. Moreover, silence acts as a shield, protecting us from the consequences of impulsive words and actions. In moments of anger, we might say hurtful things or make regrettable decisions. By choosing silence, we prevent harm to others and maintain the integrity of our relationships. The story of the two arrows illustrates this point effectively. The first arrow represents the initial pain or suffering when something upsetting happens. This is an unavoidable part of life. The second arrow, however, symbolizes the suffering we impose on ourselves through our reactions to the first. By responding with anger, we essentially shoot this second arrow, leading to unnecessary suffering. Practicing silence in response to anger helps us manage the first arrow more skillfully. We acknowledge the pain but don't exacerbate it with anger and reactivity. This approach not only reduces our suffering but also prevents us from harming others, fostering a more compassionate and harmonious environment. Silence in moments of anger invites mindfulness, self-inquiry, and restraint, enabling us to transform anger into understanding and compassion. By embracing this teaching, we gradually develop emotional resilience and wisdom. Practicing silence when angry is not about suppressing or denying our emotions, rather, it's an invitation to engage with them more constructively and mindfully. Remaining silent creates space for self-reflection and self-compassion, allowing us to acknowledge our anger without judgment and observe it with curiosity. This simple act of attention can be transformative. In addition to enhancing self-awareness, silence allows us to listen more attentively to others. When we're angry, we often focus solely on our feelings and perspectives, sometimes becoming so engrossed in our emotions that we fail to hear what others are saying or empathize with their viewpoint. By choosing silence, we open ourselves to a deeper understanding of both the situation and the people involved. The power of silence in the face of anger lies in its ability to break the cycle of reactivity. Responding with anger often triggers a chain reaction of negative emotions and actions, provoking defensiveness or counter-anger in others and leading to a destructive cycle of conflict. Silence interrupts this pattern, providing an opportunity for a more peaceful and constructive resolution. Ultimately, practicing silence in the face of anger fosters greater emotional balance and equanimity. It empowers us to let go of grudges and resentments, making room for forgiveness and understanding. By cultivating this practice, we move closer to freeing ourselves from the suffering caused by anger, which is one of the central aims of Buddhism. Number 2. Silence in the face of gossip and slander. Remaining silent when confronted with gossip and slander emphasizes the significance of mindful speech and the negative results of harmful communication. Gossip and slander are akin to poisoned arrows, impacting not just the individual being discussed but also the speaker themselves. In Buddhism, right speech is a key ethical principle that highlights truthful, kind, and beneficial communication. Engaging in gossip and slander contradicts these values, fostering disharmony and suffering. Choosing silence aligns with the principles of right speech and encourages a more compassionate and harmonious society. Gossip and slander often arise from harmful emotions like jealousy, resentment, or the desire to damage someone's reputation. Engaging in such speech not only perpetuates negativity within ourselves but also spreads it to others, eventually harming relationships, trust, and community bonds. Being silent in these situations serves several purposes. Firstly, it stops us from participating in harmful speech. By opting out of gossip or slander, we avoid the moral and karmic implications of speaking untruths or causing harm. Secondly, silence allows us to contemplate the reason behind the gossip or slander. Are our actions driven by envy, anger, or fear? This introspection can lead to personal growth and transformation. Moreover, choosing silence can prompt others involved in gossip to reassess their words. When we decline to participate in or listen to such conversations, we signal that we do not support this behavior. This non-engagement might encourage others to consider the consequences of their words and potentially dissuade them from continuing their negative speech. Gossip and slander are pervasive in society, with well-documented detrimental effects. In Buddhism, these actions are considered violations of the right speech, a key component of the Eightfold Path. Right speech entails using words mindfully and ethically to promote honesty, kindness, and beneficial dialogue. The prohibition against gossip and slander is grounded in recognizing the power of words. Words influence our reality, emotions, and the lives of others. Often motivated by negative emotions like envy, resentment, or anger, engaging in gossip or slander can lead to distorted judgments and exaggeration of others' faults. The harm caused by gossip and slander is twofold. It adversely affects the person discussed through false or unkind words that can tarnish their reputation, induce emotional distress, and strain relationships. It also affects the speaker by fostering negative karmic outcomes that may lead to future suffering. Furthermore, it fosters negative emotions within the speaker, adding to their suffering. Choosing silence in the face of gossip and slander serves as a powerful means to disrupt the cycle of negativity. It represents an act of non-participation, a conscious decision not to perpetuate harmful language. This approach not only adheres to the principles of right speech but also safeguards our own karma and emotional well-being. Silence provides us with a moment to pause and reflect on our intentions. When encountering gossip or slander, we can question why we feel compelled to engage in such conversations, whether it stems from envy, a desire to feel superior, or an intent to harm someone. This self-reflection can be transformative, bringing awareness to our own negative emotions and the suffering they cause. Moreover, choosing silence can send a powerful message to others. By opting out of harmful speech, we express our disapproval of such behavior. Our silence can encourage others to reconsider the impact of their words and may even deter them from persisting with negative speech. In a broader sense, remaining silent in the face of gossip and slander promotes a culture of kindness, respect, and empathy. It prompts us to look beyond the faults and shortcomings of others and appreciate their positive qualities. This practice nurtures understanding and compassion, contributing to a more harmonious and caring community. Embracing silence in the context of gossip and slander embodies the Buddhist ideals of right speech and compassion. It empowers us to use our words mindfully, protecting our well-being while fostering a more positive and harmonious society. Number 3. Silence during conflict. Conflicts are an unavoidable aspect of human interactions, and the approach we take can greatly influence their outcomes. Buddhism advocates for silence as a response to conflict, highlighting the importance of mindfulness, compassion, and understanding in resolving disagreements. Conflicts often stem from differing opinions, values, or interests and can result in heated disputes and emotional turmoil. In such situations, silence serves as a calming space, allowing us to pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom and empathy. Choosing silence does not mean avoiding or suppressing feelings, rather, it creates a space for active listening and finding common ground. By opting for silence, we give ourselves and others the chance to express without fear of judgment or escalation. Furthermore, silence helps us break free from the cycle of reactive responses. Responding with anger or defensiveness often intensifies conflicts, complicating resolution efforts. Silence interrupts this cycle by offering a moment for contemplation and mindful response. Conflict is an integral component of human relationships, whether it's a disagreement with family, a workplace clash, or a dispute with a friend. Our approach to handling conflicts has a profound impact on our relationships and personal well-being. In Buddhism, silence during conflicts is encouraged for its potential to foster more mindful and compassionate resolutions. Exploring the wisdom of silence during conflict reveals that disagreements often arise from differences in opinions, values, or interests. When these escalate into arguments or confrontations, they can cause emotional distress and harm relationships. Buddhism acknowledges that conflicts can be particularly challenging as they evoke strong emotions and obscure our judgment. Silence during conflict doesn't signify avoiding or suppressing our feelings, rather, it's a deliberate choice to create a space for active listening, empathy, and understanding. It's a pause that enables both parties to express themselves without fearing immediate judgment or escalation. In this space, we can acknowledge our own emotions and reactions, as well as those of the other party. Silence in conflict acts as a powerful tool for active listening, a skill often overlooked but essential for effective communication. Being silent allows us to fully focus on what the other person is saying, hear their words, understand their perspective, and empathize with their feelings. This compassionate listening can de-escalate the situation and foster more constructive dialogue. Additionally, silence provides an opportunity for self-reflection. In the heat of conflict, we might become overwhelmed by emotions, making it hard to see the bigger picture or consider the long-term consequences of our actions. By choosing silence, we give ourselves a chance to reflect on the root causes of the conflict, our role in it, and potential solutions. Another aspect of using silence in conflict resolution is preventing further escalation. Responding to conflicts with anger, defensiveness, or counterattacks often perpetuates a cycle of negativity, making it increasingly difficult to find common ground or reach a resolution. Silence intervenes in this cycle, offering a pause that encourages a more measured and thoughtful response. In practicing silence during conflict, we are encouraged to set aside our own need to be right or win the argument. Instead, we prioritize the relationship's well-being and the broader goals of mutual understanding and resolution. This reflects the Buddhist principle of non-attachment, which suggests that clinging to ego-driven desires can lead to suffering and hinder our path to enlightenment. The power of silence in conflict resolution lies in its ability to foster empathy, compassion, and compromise. It encourages us to look beyond our immediate emotions and consider the feelings and needs of the other person. By doing so, we create an atmosphere where both parties can express themselves, find common ground, and work together toward a solution. Silence amid conflict is a practice deeply rooted in Buddhist principles of mindfulness, compassion, and non-attachment. It's a powerful tool that allows us to navigate conflicts with greater wisdom, empathy, and understanding. Embracing this practice contributes to resolving conflicts in ways that preserve relationships, minimize harm, and promote harmony. Number 4. Silence in times of suffering. When you witness the suffering of others, staying silent can sometimes be the most compassionate response. At the heart of Buddhism lies compassion, which often emphasizes the power of silence to offer solace. In many situations, our immediate reaction may be to provide comfort or advice through words, but Buddhism teaches that silence can be more profound and empathetic. Silence communicates presence, empathy, and a willingness to listen without judgment. Suffering is an inherent part of human life and manifests in various forms, such as physical pain, emotional distress, or daily challenges. Witnessing others' suffering is a common experience in our interconnected world. Whether it's a friend dealing with a breakup, a family member facing a health crisis, or a stranger encountering hardship. In these moments, it's natural to want to lessen their pain through comforting words. However, embracing silence as suggested by Buddhism can often be the kinder and more beneficial choice. This teaching aligns with the principle of right speech in Buddhism, which stresses speaking kindly and beneficially when someone is suffering. Silence, in these times, shows our presence and empathy, indicating our readiness to support and listen. While well-meant words may sometimes fail to capture the depth of our compassion, silence creates a space for the suffering individual to express their emotions, thoughts, and experiences in their own way. In this silent space, individuals can find solace and support. Silence illustrates respect for a person's autonomy and their capacity to handle their suffering. It demonstrates that not all suffering can be eased with words or advice. Sometimes, the greatest gift is simply being present and listening deeply. This aspect is rooted in the Buddhist principle of compassion, not just feeling sympathy but actively wishing to alleviate others' suffering. Through silence, we offer a compassionate presence, witnessing the individual's struggles and providing them a safe, non-judgmental environment. While silence can be profoundly supportive, it's important to recognize that it isn't always the solution. There are times when words of comfort or support are indeed necessary and appropriate. Buddhism encourages us to view silence as a meaningful and valuable response to the suffering of others. It reminds us that, at times, the greatest gift we can offer is our quiet presence, empathetic listening, and willingness to share in others' pain. This teaching highlights the importance of self-compassion and self-care during challenging times, urging us to turn inward and embrace the healing power of silence in our lives. We all experience moments of pain, distress, and suffering, whether due to the loss of a loved one, a personal crisis, or emotional upheaval. Suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience. In these moments, our natural inclination might be to seek comfort and support from others. However, Buddhism teaches us that there are times when silence, especially in our suffering, can be profoundly healing. Silence in times of suffering offers a sanctuary for introspection and self-compassion. It provides space to acknowledge our pain without judgment, allowing us to extend the same kindness and empathy to ourselves that we offer to others. Through this silence, we can process our emotions, thoughts, and experiences, paving the way for healing and personal growth. Silence also acts as a refuge from the pressure to maintain a facade or articulate our pain to others. While sharing our suffering with trusted friends or professionals can be vital, there are moments when the depth of our pain transcends words. Silence allows us to simply be with our suffering, without the burden of explanation or justification. This experience can be liberating, granting us the freedom to sit with our pain and accept it as part of our current reality. In silence, we connect with our inner strength and wisdom. Buddhism acknowledges that suffering is part of life and can lead to growth and insight. In the quiet of our hearts and minds, we may discover profound truths about ourselves and the nature of suffering. We can explore life's impermanence, recognizing that suffering is transient like all experiences. This awareness helps us appreciate life's interconnectedness, realizing that our suffering is not isolated but part of the human condition, a source of comfort and wisdom. Silence during suffering is a practice rooted in self-compassion, self-care, and self-discovery. It allows us to honor our pain without judgment, find refuge from the pressure to explain ourselves, and connect with our inner strength. By embracing this teaching, we create conditions for healing and personal growth. In summary, Buddhism offers profound insights into the transformative power of silence in 4 key situations: anger, gossip and slander, conflict, witnessing others' suffering, and our own suffering. In these instances, silence fosters mindful compassion and personal development. Silence is not passive or indifferent but an intentional choice to create space for listening, reflection, and wise responses. It aligns with principles of right speech, compassion, and non-attachment as outlined in the Eightfold Path. By embracing silence in these scenarios, we empower ourselves to transform negative emotions, nurture compassion, and foster understanding. We protect relationships, minimize harm, and contribute to a more harmonious world. By learning to be present, listen deeply, and embrace the healing power of silence, we integrate these teachings into daily life. We embark on a journey of self-discovery and transformation that aligns with Buddhism's ideals of alleviating suffering, cultivating mindfulness, and recognizing interconnectedness. In doing so, we find solutions to life's challenges and uncover a path to inner peace and enlightenment. Silence is essential. We need it just as much as air or sunlight for plants. When our minds are crowded with words and thoughts, there is no space for us. In profound silence during these 4 situations, we find the space needed to live more mindfully, compassionately, and authentically.